Today I have a little wrist care routine for you guys. So this would be a really good routine for anybody who's maybe like an artist, a painter, an illustrator, somebody who's kind of constantly working with their hands, also somebody who types all day, and for anyone in my handstand community who's kind of learning handstands or already really progressed in their handstands and just on their hands a lot. Our wrists aren't really meant to take a lot of just kind of being upside down and putting a lot of pressure on them. So making sure that you're caring for them and training them well is very important. So what you'll need is possibly some towels, but you may or may not even need them depending on the mobility that you already have in your wrist. So we're actually just going to start with closing your hands, making a fist, and rolling the wrist in one direction. So you can go, it doesn't really matter which way that you go. And then you're going to switch and go the other way. Sometimes that's really easy. Sometimes your brain has to work a little bit harder. Doesn't matter. And then you can switch it up again. And then switch it up one more time. And you can do that as much as you want. You can take as many sets of that as you want. It's really up to you. Then we're going to move to an open close. So just opening and close the hands, almost like you're flicking water off your fingertips. Not only is this good for the hands and the wrist, but it's also building a little bit of strength in the forearms, which is good for your handstands, but also for strength. So opening and closing. Keeping good mobility in the wrist is good for weightlifters as well. So if you're in that front rack position and you notice that you don't feel like you have the mobility that you want in the wrist, this routine will be good for you to be repeating. From here, we're going to go into a tabletop position, and this is where those towels might come in handy. So if you move into a tabletop position and you find that it's already uncomfortable for you to have shoulders over elbows because you're in a position that makes that challenging for you, take your towel, fold it as many times as you need to, and then put the palm of your hand on the towel, and that'll give you a little bit of leverage, a little bit of height in the palms, and make it so that that's not as intense of flexion on the wrists. And then you can start to rock forward, shoulders over fingertips, and then rock back. Rock forward, and then rock back, rock forward, rock back, and forward. We're going to do this 5 times. As you start to progress or do this more in your practice, if you find one that feels good to you, maybe it becomes 10 times or 3 sets of 10. We're changing the direction now of the fingers. So fingertips will go to the outer edges of the mat, and now you're going to rock side to side. As you're doing this, the elbows are going to stay straight, and the shoulders are going to stay strong. Back and forth. Here, this is why you would have 2 towels with you. So if you feel like you need that extra support in the wrist, take your towel, 1 towel on this side, and then 1 towel on the other side, if you're using them. And if you're not and you don't feel like you need to use them, that's fine too. Rocking side to side, keeping the elbows strong and straight, shoulders strong and active. And then the next one you may not feel quite ready for, and that's okay. You can also circle this one too. One direction and then the other. This next one is pretty intense. You may or may not feel like you want to do it just yet. You could also use the towels for it. The fingertips are going to face the knees. Fingertips will face the knees, and then you rock back. Fingertips face the knees, rock back. And again, you can use your towel. This one you're going to feel all the way up through the forearms, rocking back. And for the last one, you can just swing your legs around if you want, sit in a comfortable seated position, or you can take your towels, one or both, stick them right underneath the knees if you have any knee issues. If you can sit back comfortably on your heels and that doesn't bother you to do so, you could do that as well. You can use the towel if you want to add a little extra. You're going to turn your toes under, sit back on the heels for toe crusher pose, and you will understand why once you start doing it. Interlace your fingers and keep your forearms together, and then you're just going to start to roll the wrist one direction, and then roll the wrist the other direction. And pretty simple, pretty easy little sequence. And you can repeat it as often as you want, but the goal is just to keep those wrists strong and healthy so that you can keep doing the things that you love. I hope this video helps you guys. See you soon.